focused on her legal consulting work and that any claims of federal investigations are completely unsubstantiated. But silence in the political world often speaks louder than words. Can Pam Bondi bounce back? Maybe. America loves a redemption story. But in this case, she's not just battling political fallout, she may be facing legal consequences as well. Former Trump aide summed it up bluntly. When you go that deep into the game, you have to be ready for the consequences. Pam may not have expected them to come this fast or this hard. Whether she is eventually cleared or charged, the damage to her reputation is already done. The breakdown caught on camera wasn't just a moment of emotion. It was the visible crack in the armor of a once unshakable political figure. For now, all eyes are on what happens next. But one thing is certain, Pam Bondi's world has changed forever. Pam Bondi wasn't just any public figure. She was once seen as the future of Republican leadership. Serving as Florida's Attorney General from 2011 to 2019, Bondi built her career on aggressive legal actions and high-profile media moments. She tackled opioid abuse, consumer fraud, and human trafficking with a bold, no-nonsense persona that made her a household name in conservative America. Her sharp legal mind and telegenic presence quickly turned her into a frequent Fox News guest, and political insiders whispered that she was being groomed for something bigger, perhaps a Senate run, or even a role in a future presidential cabinet. Then came 2020, and Bondi got the national spotlight like never before. During President Trump's first impeachment trial, Bondi stepped into the Senate chamber and delivered a fiery defense of the president, targeting Hunter Biden and casting doubt on the legitimacy of the impeachment process. She wasn't just defending Trump, she was becoming his public sword, and Shield conservative media hailed her as a legal warrior. Trump himself called her one of the smartest attorneys in the country. For a while it looked like Bondi's future was golden, but when she left her position as Florida's Attorney General, her path took a sharp, unexpected turn. Instead of pursuing traditional legal work or climbing the GOP leadership ladder, Bondi doubled down on her connection with Trump, joining his legal team, representing him in various post-presidency matters, and aligning herself closely with controversial legal battles and political talking points. She played a vocal role in promoting the Stop the Steal movement, a campaign that sought to cast doubt on the 2020 election results. Bondi appeared at events, repeated unverified claims of election fraud, and reportedly advised groups working to challenge the certification of votes in multiple states. While this won her favor with the MAGA base, earning her loyalty points from Trump loyalists and grassroots conservatives, it came at a cost. Moderate Republicans began to distance themselves, citing growing concerns over her partisan rhetoric and the legal risks of such bold public alignment. Legal analysts began to question the ethics of her actions. Several watchdog groups accused Bondi of blurring the line between legal advocacy and political propaganda, and behind the scenes whispers grew louder. Was she going too far? Was she putting herself in legal danger? Over time, the inner circle she was once part of began to shrink. As investigations into the Capitol riot and election interference expanded, more and more Trump world allies were being subpoenaed, indicted, or dragged into court battles. And Pam Bondi's name began to surface more frequently, not as a commentator, but as a potential target. Now, multiple sources, including 2 anonymous insiders with knowledge of federal activity, claim that Bondi is facing potential legal scrutiny. Her involvement with political action committees, fundraising efforts tied to election litigation, and behind-the-scenes strategy sessions have all reportedly drawn attention from federal investigators. One source told political news outlet Axios, she's not just a bystander. She was part of the machinery that pushed election challenges and kept the legal train running. And while there's no public record of charges being filed, the fear among Bondi's inner circle is very real. Her appearance in the now viral video, visibly distressed whispering, "It's really over," was reportedly recorded just minutes after she received a briefing from her legal team regarding potential legal exposure. Some legal experts believe she may be preparing for a grand jury subpoena, while others suggest she's simply. Critics argue that Bondi's involvement went beyond legal representation, that she actively promoted and supported false narratives about the election. They claim her participation in Trump-aligned strategy sessions, public statements, and possible behind-the-scenes coordination may have crossed the line into unethical territory. One legal analyst summed it up this way: "It's one thing to be a lawyer representing a client. It's another thing to join a political campaign masquerading as a legal movement. That's where things get murky and dangerous." Bondi's defenders, on the other hand, are calling the entire investigation a politically motivated witch hunt, targeting conservatives who dared to speak out. They argue that Bondi was doing her job as a legal advisor and exercising her First Amendment rights. Some in the MAGA movement are already rallying behind her, painting her as a victim of deep state tactics. But even within those circles, the support is shakier than before. Behind the scenes, GOP insiders are worried about political blowback. They fear that Bondi's public association with January 6th and the election denial narrative could reignite media firestorms and damage other Republican candidates heading into 2026 and beyond. "She became too closely tied to the chaos," said a Republican campaign strategist. "And now the chaos might consume her." To be clear, nothing has been proven in court. Bondi remains innocent unless proven guilty. No formal charges have been filed. But in the world of politics and public opinion, the appearance of impropriety is often as damaging as guilt, and right now the appearance is devastating. More troubling still is the uncertainty surrounding her next moves. Bondi has not held any public events since the video of her tearful breakdown surfaced. She's gone quiet on social media. Her office has declined all interview requests. Even longtime allies say they haven't heard from her in days. Some believe she's preparing for a legal defense. Others think she may be negotiating behind the scenes, either to provide testimony or to limit potential legal exposure. There's even speculation that she's considering stepping away from public life entirely. If true, it would mark a dramatic and heartbreaking end for a woman who once stood at the center of the conservative legal world. For now, Bondi's fate hangs in limbo. But one thing is clear: the world is watching, and any move she makes from here on out will be under a microscope. This isn't just a political story anymore. It's personal, it's emotional, and it's a stark reminder that in Washington, power can vanish in an instant. What makes this story even more intense and frankly tragic is how quickly Pam Bondi has lost the backing of the very people who once celebrated her. It's a textbook case of political abandonment, where yesterday's rising star becomes today's liability. Just a few years ago, Bondi was seen as a GOP golden girl. Strategists praised her charisma, legal prowess, and loyalty to the party's core message. She was a frequent guest on Fox News, a fixture at major conservative conferences, and a darling of Trump world. But today, that support has vanished almost overnight. Republican insiders are distancing themselves rapidly. One GOP strategist, speaking anonymously to avoid backlash, summed it up bluntly: "We can't afford to be tied to this kind of drama going into the 2026 cycle." Bondi became more of a liability than an asset. The Republican Party, especially its more establishment wing, is trying hard to move past the chaos of January 6th and the legal baggage of Trump's inner circle. They want to present a polished, unified front going into the next election. And Bondi, with the looming shadow of a federal investigation, no longer fits that image. Even more telling is how Fox News has quietly pulled back. Once a regular face on the network, Bondi has not appeared on air in weeks. Producers reportedly aren't returning her team's calls. Segments that would have once featured her fiery soundbites now pass without mention. It's not just TV conservative. Influencers on X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, and Truth Social have gone silent. The ones who used to retweet her statements or invite her on podcasts are now keeping their distance. Some have even deleted old posts praising her. And then there's the Trump orbit, where she once held VIP access. Sources say several former Trump aides, including some she worked closely with during the impeachment defense and post-election lawsuits, have cut ties. One former White House official reportedly told a journalist, "It's sad, but the moment someone becomes a legal risk, people pull away fast. No one wants to go down with the ship." This chilling silence from her former allies has left Bondi politically isolated. For someone who built her career on relationships, loyalty, and party unity, the sudden disappearance of that support must feel like a gut punch. As one political analyst put it, she backed the wrong horse and now she's paying the price. But perhaps most unsettling is the role the media is now playing in amplifying her downfall. The same machine that once elevated Bondi to national fame is now turning its lens on her breakdown. Clips of her emotional moment have been posted, reposted, dissected, and memified. Some commentators have mocked her tears, suggesting she's only upset because she got caught. Others have expressed sympathy, noting how brutal politics can be. Still, the majority fall somewhere in between, shocked that someone so once prominent could fall so far, so fast. Even neutral outlets are running headlines like, "From Powerhouse to Pariah, the Pam Bondi Collapse." Legal woes and political isolation, the end of Bondi's influence. Online commentary has been relentless. Comment sections, forums, and Reddit threads are filled with speculation, criticism, and sarcastic commentary. Some call her another Trump casualty. Others wonder if she'll flip and testify to save herself. Many are just watching the drama unfold like a political soap opera, and through it all, Bondi remains silent. No tweets, no press conferences, no interviews. Her team has gone radio silent, refusing to comment. For someone who was once quick to jump in front of a camera, the quiet is deafening. What's perhaps most ironic is that Bondi built part of her public identity on strength and loyalty. She was always the fighter, the one who stood tall when things got ugly. Now, as the tide turns against her, she's being left alone to fight a battle that even her oldest allies don't seem willing to join. In politics, they say it's lonely at the top, but it can be even lonelier at the bottom, especially when everyone you helped climb suddenly pretends they've never heard your name. Pam Bondi is learning that the hard way. As of now, Pam Bondi has made no official statement, not a tweet, not a press conference, not even a carefully worded press release. For someone who once thrived in the media spotlight, the silence is deafening. Her team insists she's not under investigation. A spokesperson dismissed recent reports as baseless speculation, but legal experts say this may be a strategic silence, a move designed to avoid further scrutiny while lawyers work behind the scenes. Still, the absence of a clear message leaves the public guessing, and in the world of politics, perception matters as much as reality. The big question now, is this just a temporary setback, or the definitive end of Pam Bondi's political life? Historically, American politics has been filled with stunning comebacks. Scandals fade. Public memory is short. A heartfelt apology and a few years in the shadows can sometimes be enough for a full rebrand. And Bondi, with her charisma and credentials, could theoretically attempt such a return. But this case feels different. The damage isn't just political, it's legal, emotional, and reputational. Her credibility is in question. Her name is now tied to one of the most polarizing chapters in modern U.S. history, the fight to overturn the 2020 election. That alone would be enough to taint a public figure for years, but combine it with potential legal scrutiny and public breakdowns, and the road back becomes almost impossible. Worse yet, this all unfolded in real time, under the watchful eye of millions. The emotional video of her whispering, "It's over," is now embedded in the political consciousness. News anchors are replaying it. TikTok users are remixing it. Commentators across the political spectrum are dissecting it. Bondi isn't just dealing with a PR crisis. She's facing an unraveling in front of the entire country. If the federal probe into January 6th deepens, and if Bondi's name continues to surface in communications, financial records, or legal filings, then her public image could be permanently damaged. Even if she escapes formal charges, the very association might be enough to close doors that were once wide open. This is a woman who, just a few years ago, was being floated as a possible Attorney General of the United States. Now she's on the outside of the GOP looking in, fighting to protect not only her future, but her legacy. One former political consultant described it this way: "This isn't just a political storm. It might be the hurricane that washes everything away." And yet, even in the eye of this storm, Bondi has a choice. Will she retreat quietly and rebuild behind the scenes? Will she go on the offensive and defend her role in the post-election battles? Or will she cooperate with investigators, possibly, flipping on others in exchange for leniency? Each option comes with risk. Each option closes some doors and opens others. But the window for decisive action is narrowing fast. For now, the uncertainty is what defines this story. We don't know what Bondi's next move is. We don't know how deep the investigations will go. And we don't know if this is the end, or just the beginning of a longer, more complex chapter. But what we do know is,